Hey guys, welcome back. So we have our segment 2 in regards to the financial aspects of on these vlogs here. And again, we have Connor and Zach back again. We are at a different space. Hopefully the sound's a little bit better this time. Just to rehash a little bit, these guys are in your early to mid 20s. Connor, you worked a couple years. Zach here, while he's fresh out of college, but he has his master's. He's still, getting a dip into professional workforce per se. We talked about last time about crypto. We're not going to talk about crypto this time, but what we will talk about is what the heck is NFT? Because that's a big thing right now, right? Because NFT, I think they can go through art, digital images, moments, and on and on and on.
Whatever you want it to be.
So what is it, Connor?
I think an NFT is pretty much anything. At this point, a lot of people are using it as art. I guess mainly art at this point. That's what everybody kind of is going about. But essentially, it's just a thing, a digital thing that has its own backing from blockchain, kind of like Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. Basically, you go onto a website and you purchase a picture that's yours. Nobody else has it. You could do moments. I know the NBA kind of made headlines. They were doing essentially like GIFs, and you would own that moment from an NBA game. So it's kind of a lot of stuff like that. Just art, pictures, GIFs, moments. I know some comedians are doing NFTs where you purchase an NFT of them and you get admission to their events for a certain amount of time. So not only are they giving you your own thing, they're giving you a tangible, real world thing as well. So it's not only digital sometimes it is tangible.
So I have a great story off that. But so NFTs, just so anyone that doesn't know, an NFT stands for non-fungible token. Basically what that means is it cannot be exchanged. The exchange has to be done with whatever token the NFT is on. So if you've ever purchased one, or if you never have, there's a website called OpenSea. That's where most of the NFT transactions are done. And what you do is you will actually select what blockchain you want your NFT built on, and that is the non-fungible aspect. So if I want an NFT that is built on Ethereum, I have to purchase that NFT on Ethereum. And I believe there's a bunch of them that they're being built on, like Cardano, Solana, Bitcoin, things like that. But that's where that non-fungible aspect comes from, the NFT, the actual letters NFT. But like Connor was saying, is that people are doing mostly digital art pictures. There are the physical aspect, but the physical ones are just basically a TV screen that displays the art anyways. One of the funniest ones was there was an NFT that they produced a tungsten cube, and it's this like 2 foot by 2 foot tungsten cube. I'm not really sure why. This thing weighs like however many thousands of pounds because tungsten's so dense. And then they sold an NFT of the tungsten cube. And I believe there is like some limited number of owners of these NFT of this tungsten cube. And this NFT reserves you the right to once a year go to the building where the tungsten cube is stored, and you can take a picture and touch the cube if you own the NFT.
So I have a couple aspects of NFT. Questions that is not, I don't know much about it. I'm going to be very upfront. So can anyone create an NFT?
Yes. For the most part.
Most part, right? Me and you, us three here tonight can go create one.
We can do it right here sitting on your laptop, on your iPad.
Okay, so that's it. It's not a tangible asset. And when you say gifts, for some of those people out there, we're not talking about like literally a tangible material gift. It's actually an image. It's like a JPEG. It's GIF. It's a GIF, right? It's like a short, very brief, short video clips. That's what we're talking about. Just to make sure that some of the people out there, when we're talking more to talk about GIFs, we're talking about these clips of images. Hence the NBA or sports moments and something like that. What about? We're going to dive into the metaverse right now, but is that the same as Snoop's house in metaverse? Is that an NFT? Or no? Or is that another form of something?
I would say it's another form of something, but
Okay.
it's the same premise of instead of it being a digital picture that you own, you would own this digital land.
Digital property, right?
Exactly. Same
Okay.
thing. You have to buy it with a token, and you're the owner of it, and you can sell it to someone else.
Okay, so it's still virtual. It's not a tangible asset. It's not a tangible material good that we can touch, feel, or actually hand over. But for those that don't know, so Metaverse is the Facebook virtual universe they have created. And one of the latest things is that Snoop Doggy Dogg has a house out there that he bought for X amount, or was gifted to him, literally gifted to him. But it's for like worth astronomical amount of money. A lot of these spaces are. So if you want to buy a place next to Snoop in a virtual world, you need to pony up some virtual coins to go get it, basically.
So the guy who they gifted Snoop's house to, so they gifted Snoop this house, and the guy who lived right next to him,
Virtually,
he made about $5 million in a day.
$5 million in one single day.
Just because Snoop Dogg lived next to him now.
Wow.
Virtually.
Lived next to him.
But that's just one universe, right? Ultimately, I think the view is that while not trying not to shift too far away from NFTs, ultimately I think a lot of these platforms like Facebook, whoever's out there, want to ultimately develop a one single universe which houses all these things, right? And as of right now, the big difference between these universes is that they're not finite, at least what we know of, unlike Bitcoin. Supposedly Bitcoin's finite, but they're always able to find more. So I don't know how that goes. But in the concept, it's supposed to be Bitcoin's a finite type of asset, but a universe, like a metaverse, as of today, is infinite, as we know it. There could be other forms of it. But NFT, let's get back to the financial aspects. How is it that people are making money, really? Like individuals like yourself, is 20 euros, recent grads, or new to the workforce. How are you making money on this NFT? Or how are other people if you're not?
Yeah, I would say that especially when it comes to art, if you're an artist, at this point, NFTs is not an easy way to make money, but a good way to make money. You can essentially go list your painting on one of these NFT websites and just sell it to somebody. Like you could take a physical picture, or you could take a digital picture of a physical painting that you made and sell it as an NFT, and then that person now has your art as one-on-one.
But with a limited amount, right? I think that's something.
You could do 1, you could do 10.
Yeah.
You can set up 10 pictures. Let's say you take 10 pictures of one painting.
Okay.
From there on, you can't really duplicate those NFTs. If you own the NFT, you technically own that painting. Even though there's 10 of them, you own that painting.
And additionally, like Connor's saying, where you could attach something to it, you could say, hey, you own this NFT of this painting, so therefore you can come look at it for a week, or you can have it in your house for a week or something. And there could be some like additional thing attached to owning the NFT.
But can they have different series, different issues, right? Let's just say initially, the artist issues 10 NFTs to that one particular art piece. Later on down the line, since it became such high in demand, could the artist go, you know what? There's more demand. I'm going to issue 100. But that could also dilute, right? But or depending on the series, could also create value.
Yeah, I think that you can keep issuing more and more NFTs of the same thing. It will then obviously dilute probably the price and how rare it is to have them. But something that, like, especially with the NBA, when they used to issue Top Shots, which is what they called their NFTs, they would issue maybe like 5 or 10 for a certain moment. So you could all have like an Alex Caruso layup. Well, people were starting to get onto it, and they would purchase specific numbers. So we all know there's numbers that are funnier, cooler, whatever it may be than other numbers. People would then go in and try to get number 666 of a certain issuance or something like that, and that would be valued more than number 667. Obviously number 1 probably going to be worth a lot more than number 2, so on and so forth. So you get different issuance numbers.
So in regards to making it with a painting that you then upload, you wouldn't really put out the same token a bunch of times. Like you wouldn't use that same piece and just make it 100 different times. So the primary projects, like the Bored Apes, the new bowls, the rich bowl, wealthy bowls, something like that. These projects, what they're doing basically is, if we want to build an NFT, right, we would go on to a platform. And let's just keep our NFT simple so it's easy to make. Because the Bored Ape ones, the reason they trade for such high premiums is because you have to at least appreciate the artistic effort they put into those things. Because the base way we would do it, if we were trying to make a bunch, usually a collection has 10,000. That's a pretty standard size for NFTs. It's a theme, so let's just call ours the stick figures. And we would go into a program and we would set up something to go, hey, here is, let's just say 100 head templates, and then 100 body templates, and then 100 leg templates, and then 100 arm templates. And then we would do like, here's this hat, here's a gold chain, here's sunglasses, all these random things you put on the stick figure. And then we have a computer program run it and generate us 10,000 unique versions of this stick figure that would have, maybe this one has a hat in one leg, and this one has a hat and gold chain in both legs. And you would get, and that's how you get to these different NFTs, is they're 10,000 unique NFTs. They're all the same theme. They're just the computer program picks certain things to go on this one. But when you get to like the Bored Apes Yacht Club and those Rich Bull, the Wealthy Bull Society, whatever it is, the computer generation of the uniqueness is pretty impressive because of how detailed those things are, that it did require quite a bit of artistic collaboration to get 10,000 unique apes and things like that. But that's how it is. But the way you make money is either A, you're the buyer and you find someone to buy it higher, or B, we created our stick figure NFT, we made 10,000. Every time someone buys one, we get a chunk of that. Every time they then sell one of our NFTs to someone else, we get a chunk of that. So if you're a kid like us, or even there's a 13-year-old I think that's made a couple $1 million making NFTs, and he just sits at school and builds these things like I'm saying. He builds, here's this collection of this, here's this collection of this, here's this collection of this. Even if they don't get to these astronomical, like million-dollar prices that these Bored Apes are getting to, he gets it every time it's exchanged. So that's his game, is as long as people are buying and selling them, I'm good, I make money. So that's a really unique aspect of it.
Okay, leveraging off of a conversation, our segment number 1, which is crypto. Do you believe NFT is actually a currency?
No. I think NFT is an asset.
Yes, I agree.
Real or not, it's if people want it, it becomes an asset.
So it's more of a, to our point, initial saying, it's more of a virtual asset, right?
I've always come to see NFTs as, especially with art, it's just an online painting, essentially. So you could trade it. Like, obviously, there are rich, wealthy people that sometimes use paintings as almost currency.
Sure.
But realistically, it's an asset.
Okay.
And for anyone who's thinking like, oh, how could that be the same thing as a famous painting? I'm pretty sure one of the Bored Apes is going for like $35 million right now. Yeah. So if you don't think it's a real value, like that guy probably paid a couple $100,000 or something. But I don't consider it a currency. I would say it's more of a good than it is a currency.
So NFT, I mean, in reality, it doesn't really trade on the stock market per se. It's really a more personalized or vendor type of kind of exchange of virtual assets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. As usual, do you see an upside? Is it going to continue to grow? Is it going to be masses? I mean, until some type of fraud happens, right? Truly happens, I think that's when the risk is introduced in any type of virtual currency or platforms like these. And I don't think we've seen it yet. We haven't seen the theft aspects of it.
Yeah, I don't think there will be fraud in this, as it's pretty much just artists getting together, creating something, and going, here you go. So it's like, there was never any underground levels of this. It's more of just like, here's our artwork, would you like to buy it?
Yeah, I think fraud at this point is going to be kind of hard. You might see more of what John Google classifies as false advertising, where people say you're getting this and you're really getting something else. Fraud, but it's
so
not.
The authentication aspects kicks in, right? This is where, is this NFT truly says what it is? That part will kick in, right?
That
the validity
and also, I'm sure that like people's paintings If you haven't bought it yet, it comes up as like a pixelated image or like grayed or blurred out sometimes. And then when you buy it, you get to see what it actually is. They could just be lying based off of what it is that way. And that's where the false advertising, as Jocko says, comes in.
Have you guys purchased any NFTs?
So I was going to purchase one of those bowls when they were coming out. One of my friends got in on the wait list. We were all going to go 1/3 on it. And it was 3 of us. He was waiting for it. He couldn't get one. They went up about 20 times the value the next day.
Wow. Have you ventured in that?
No. I've thought about like more of like the painting style, like having like I own this painting. I don't really care for the Bored Ape or Gold Collection or Top Shot. I don't really care for that.
Okay, so you're still somewhat back to the fundamentals where you want something more just tangible per se.
Yeah, and it would be more of like I would own an NFT of somebody I knew if they did a painting or like a computerized image, something like that. That's kind of it.
So again, none of this is investment advice. Do your research.
Do not.
But
Yeah.
I have read a couple things on what NFT projects you should look for, what things in the projects you should look for if you are trying to buy one. They should have a website. If you're buying a project that doesn't have a website, that's crazy. That's just
Create that tonight. Keep going.
That's some crazy. Might just be a kid sitting at his mom's computer desk just drawing things in Microsoft Paint.
Done. Next.
B, they need to dox themselves. All of the creators of the NFTs need to have their names and what they do out available for public, or else it's like, if you're not willing to put your name behind your work, why should I buy your work? That's basically. 3, they need to have a goal for what they're going to do with the funds. All NFT projects have some sort of mission. It doesn't have to be anything complicated like solve world hunger or anything, but they need to say like, hey, we're going to do this with this. I mean, of course their goal is to make money for themselves, but there should be something added. Like, I think the Bored Apes have like social get-togethers once or twice a year, something like that. But like, I'm not saying that makes the NFT valuable, but if you're going to look for a project, those are 3 things you should kind of keep.
I mean, not to be sarcastic, literally, our segments go for broke, right? I mean, we can literally just create one and go, okay, I just want to get rich. That's my theme. I mean, it's scary to say that, but it's the truth. I could very well make an NFT and say, I just want to get rich.
Yep.
That's it. And if people are interested enough to put money towards it, it's their choice.
Yep.
Right? Wow. Okay. So it gives everyone an idea out there. So if you guys want to try to make an NFT, reach out to one of us, and we definitely will help you out. And of course, there will be consulting fees. But like Zach did mention, is that, hey guys, this is for entertainment purposes. It's just a discussion, conversation of what it is. We're not providing investment advice here. That's not our goal. It's just purely for entertainment value. It's just different perspectives of how we see this new world, evolving as in currency, virtual assets, and also properties and things like that. And we'll get into that in other episodes by all means. I think something that we didn't close out with the previous session is that stock market. For those out there that follows the stock market, it is heavily influenced by the regulators, the Feds. Last week, or the week before, it was last week or the week before that.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Okay, 2 weeks ago when the Feds came out with a little bit more aggressive statement saying that they're going to raise interest. They could possibly raise interest rates for the fact that because inflation is happening, and it is happening. My gas prices is $5.09 here in California. Transitory. That was a old word. But with that being said, they are putting out words that they could be very well raising interest rates, and that did affect the stock market. How do you guys see the stock market? Because you guys are investors of your own and your own portfolio. And again, this is not any investment advice. This is just their own personal view of what how the market will perform. Next 6 months, what do you think? How's it gonna go? Tank, flip upside down, what's it gonna be?
I think it's gonna be a boring year. I think it's gonna be primarily a sideways year. a lot of people like to say that the market builds the whole forward-looking aspect of the market. I think the market's about 3 days forward-looking. Maybe they could look 72 hours in the future. Other than that, I think most people make decisions based on what is happening today. And at the end of the day, other than all the computer trading, it is mostly humans controlling what's happening in the stock market. So I think people say they're building in this Fed rate hike. I think if the Fed does hike rates in March, you should expect to see a pretty solid decline in the market again. Now the question is, will then investors rationalize after that decline and go, okay, we overreacted. We didn't need to sell off the stock market that much. We knew this rate hike was coming. We've all known it was coming since January. Let's bring it back up. And that's where I think we're going to be doing a lot of sideways, dip, come back up, sideways, dip, come back up. Now, if the Fed hikes 3 times this year, I think we can see a pretty serious crash.
What about you? What are your thoughts?
More along the same lines as Zach is. I think if the Fed raises rates 1-2 times, we're going to see things go sideways. As Zach said, tick up, come back down. I don't think they're going to raise 3 times this year. So again, I think it's going to be a fairly boring year.
I kind of have a different thought just because I'm older than them and I went through the credit crisis. I've been talking about, for the people that know me, I've been talking about a stock correction for more than 10 years now, since almost 10 years since the credit crisis. So I think that the market correction is coming, or there needs to be one. In relative to what percentage that is, I don't know what the correct amount is, but there needs to be an adjustment. For the fact remains that I think if you talk to the majority of the investors out there in the market space, they do believe that it is overvalued. While there are some sporadic activities that defends the valuations, it is still overvalued. That's one aspect. 2, we're long overdue, and there's still the health concerns out there. While there are still concerns about how this pandemic really played out, what does that affect? While everyone's still hopefully still up to safeguards, staying safe, whatever precaution you're taking, there's still that factor lingering out there. So that does put stress on the market. And as you open CNN in the morning and look at the transitory, I'm going to use that word, that the great resignation, right, era, they're not resigning to exit the workforce. They're actually resigning to go to a better job, a better opportunity to capitalize more in compensation. So from that perspective, there are a lot of headwinds. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of things that will put pressure that, on the stock market, how we manage it through. So I'm a little bit more pessimistic. I think that there will be, if the market allows, there will be at least 2 rate hikes. I don't think it's going to happen in March now, because I think that if they would have done it, there will be further indication of the market space that will give that color. But right now, all of a sudden, the numbers didn't come out as well as everyone thought it would be last week. So all of a sudden, the top throttled back. But I don't get it twisted. I do believe that 2022 there will be at least 1, if not 2. 3 is too aggressive.
Europe said, the European Central Bank said, I believe they said they were going to hike rates in September and December.
Okay. So third and fourth quarter of this year. I do believe that U.S. is going to lead the way. I think with our conversation in the past, while I was not on record, I think I said something about June. I think that no matter what negative corporate news or corporate earnings in that first quarter display, I think it's going to happen within the first by second quarter. That's what I anticipate. Don't quote me on that. That's just Larry's crystal ball. But again, that's kind of just our view of how it goes. But our conversation here at NFT, what are some of your last thoughts about NFT that you want to leave out there?
Don't buy a product that you see on Instagram.
What do you mean? I'm going to create NFT tonight.
If you buy a project, be prepared to lose 100% of the money you put in.
Wow, 100%. That's how.
100%. Yeah. If you're buying an NFT with money, that you might need, you're probably making a mistake.
Wow. Don't buy an NFT that you want to make money off of. Buy an NFT that you want to own.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay. So it's kind of like an expensive baseball card.
It's exactly. It's an asset at this point. Buy it if you think it's cool, if you want to have it, not because I want to turn around and then sell it to Zach tomorrow for more money.
Something I want you touched upon earlier. So there was a site you said that you can really go out to NFT.
OpenSea.io.
Okay.
That is the primary. I don't even know if there are separate marketplaces. OpenSea.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah. OpenSea is a big one.
Now that's a place where you can research and purchase, right?
You can also create. Yeah.
Can you also liquidate?
Yes.
Okay. So that's another aspect about that we need to talk about with crypto and NFT and all this fun stuff out there. How do you get your money out? How rapidly, right? Because it's not as liquid as you think that it is. Crypto, we didn't talk about that, but I think the most, just to touch upon what we talked about in the first segment, it's Coinbase. Coinbase is probably the most viable platform out there right now to do this type of exchange, or are there more?
I would say there's several, but yeah.
There's several.
There's a lot of big crypto
Exchange.
wallet exchanges. You have FTX, Blockfolio, whatever they call themselves now.
Yeah.
Coinbase. Even now, you're getting into Cash App has crypto on it that you can purchase. So you're going to see a lot of wallets start popping up. Basically, just how you would like banks. Banks pop up all the time. Wallets are going to pop up.
But interestingly, all these places that you're mentioning, in regards to these electronic wallet, Coinbase, all these guys do put their information up to the regulators. Is that correct?
The big ones do. So Coinbase is publicly traded. So at this point, they have access to see how many things they actually have. They could probably see all the transactions, but they won't be able to see who the transactions are to.
But wouldn't you say that would provide a level of additional security? Because who's to say who one website can't just run off of your wallet, right?
They do all the time.
They do that all the time.
Yeah.
But with the regulatory body now watch them and be in public, they might not vapor overnight. Would you say that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be near impossible for Coinbase to vapor overnight. I mean, there's been stories. There was a Canadian exchange that was ran by one guy, and I think he took like $5 billion out overnight, disappeared, killed his partner that he started it with, and then disappeared another company.
And this is factual. This is not TMZ, right?
Well, the killing his partner is alleged.
Okay, so there are some myths here. Just be careful.
His partner was found dead.
Okay, but who killed him? Who knows, right? We're not saying
Allegedly.
Allegedly, there you go. So if you enjoyed this segment, the guys are here again. We're going to have segment 3. In segment 3, we're going to be talking about another topic out there. So please do subscribe, stay tuned, and do comment, and just hit subscribe, okay? All right, guys, peace out. Next time.